Hi Maya, this is Fancy, and I am looking at your design and comparing it to what you said. So you're gradating across pathways, and you have points of interpenetration. Um, let's do this. Let's talk about this first. The big thing is areas of water versus areas of fire, um, and you want larger amounts of water than you do fire. You want small, strategically placed areas of fire to help lead the viewer's eye around larger areas of water. Also think about, I found it easier just lately to think about, instead of fire and water, thinking of focus versus out of focus. So fire is in focus. There are areas that are in focus because the perceptual opposites are placed next to each other. Areas of water out of focus. They look very watery, very kind of dreamlike. They're very out of focus. So with your design, most of these shapes are in focus because they have a more definite boundary. So they separate. You've got this, you have areas that kind of focus on uh, the different perceptual opposites. So this is primarily green, this is primarily purple. This area kind of goes in between, which is kind of nicely out of focus, or it's getting there anyway, not quite. And these boundaries where they meet up, they're all in focus because you're using colors from the parts of the scale that still have high contrast. So what you want to do is, this is an area of fire because it's this purple right next to this vivid green. Same here, really the same here, it's just not as much. You want to focus on areas that have primarily large amounts of the chromatic grays. These chromatic grays are 2, maybe 3 steps in your scale, depending on how big your scale is, that fall close to the middle of the scale. They neither feel too much, they neither fall too much on the purple side or the green side. If you were to take them out of the scale and put them on a neutral background, such as white, it would be hard to tell if they had any color to them. They would look gray. So what you want to concentrate on is making the boundaries of most of the boundaries of these different areas out of focus by using chromatic grays next to each other rather than um, using the perceptual opposites next to each other. So you want these boundaries to go in and out of focus. You want to give the viewer enough information that we can still form these distinct areas in our mind's eye. But you don't want to define that boundaries along their entire lengths. You want them to be out of focus a lot of the time. You want to use or incorporate chromatic grays. You're still concentrating on gradation, but you want these areas to be largely big areas of water created out of chromatic grays. As for the interpenetration, I think this positioning works better for the interpenetration. So it's like a little bit inside, a little bit more inside the boundary of where these shapes come together rather than right on the boundaries. Here and then here. I don't think that works as well. I would probably put them more in this area rather than in this area here. And there are, I'm thinking that maybe you meant them to be seen as, these to be seen as a grouping, like this is one interpenetration, this is another interpenetration, this is another interpenetration, but they don't unify. This one goes all the way around the perimeter, this one just for a short way. I understand that through closure we understand that this continues down here. But it's not consistent, and I don't think it's reciprocated, so you have value. well, maybe it is reciprocated through value, light and dark and light, and this seems like that might be the greens. These seem like a lighter value of the purple, while this is a lighter value of the green. So perhaps they are reciprocated, but they're not used in a unified way. So you need to kind of work on that. And there's a lot of them. So I might think of another way to add the interpenetration. I don't think this is the most effective way. All right, I look forward to seeing what you do next.